Our technology enables people to understand what's happening on blockchains. So our technology is all about enabling the good guys to win in that good versus evil battle. My superpower is I actually really love technology. Hot sauce again, huh?
In this episode, I'm talking to Ian Andrews, CMO of Chainalysis, a Web3 company that helps track illegal Bitcoin transactions. They work with financial institutions, crypto exchanges, and government agencies from all over the world like the DEA, the FBI, and the IRS, just to name a few. According to online sources, they're doing over $200 million in annual revenue. We're going to cover many things. For example, number one, what convinced Ian, a Web2 veteran at companies like HP, VMware, and AOL, to join the Web3 world? Number two, how to build communities with leaders. Ian is ultra engaged with C-suite communities across Web2 and Web3. And number three, of course, we're going to try to figure out all the little things like how much money he spends on specific marketing items, how much money the company makes exactly, and many more. And every time he can't answer a question, we both have to take a shot of hot sauce from our sponsors, Good Looking Hot Sauce. Wish me luck, Martians. I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, Martians. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. Today, I'm really excited for this episode because we have a little fan watching outside of one of our doors right now as we speak. We have a company called Chainalysis, and we have the CMO of that company, Ian Andrews. Ian, welcome to the show.
Simon, I'm excited to be here, but not quite as excited as the fan outside the door, who's my 10-year-old son. I told him a week or two ago when we agreed to record this, I said, yeah, I got invited to be on this podcast. And he's like, whatever, Dad. And I said, yeah, but I'm going to do shots of hot sauce. And his eyes got huge. And he was like, no way.
Yeah.
And then the hot sauce showed up in the mail. And he's like, Dad, when are you going to record that? When's it happening? He just walked in here before we started taping with a giant glass of milk and said, Dad, be careful. So,
oh my God, so cute. Okay, well, we're gonna try to we'll do him well. We got some really hot questions, and on our side, we have some listeners watching from our team as well, and they're the ones throwing these hot questions in my ears. I have no idea what's coming up as well. You and I are in the same boat together. All right. So before we even start anything, you know the theme of the show. We're gonna start off with a shot of hot sauce. We got sent some hot sauce, and then throughout the show, we're gonna talk about marketing majority of the time, but every so often we're gonna sprinkle some hot questions. And if you can answer, we keep moving on. If you can't, we take a shot of hot sauce. We got sent some hot sauce from our friends at Good Looking Hot Sauce. What do you got? What do you got today?
I've got 3 flavors that came,
okay.
and I'm pretty excited to try this actually because I like hot sauce.
Okay.
I'd never heard of this company before. Love the branding. It's a good label. The names are fantastic. So I've got Mango Me Crazy.
Yeah.
I've got Cheeky Chipotle, and I've got Cayenne You Handle It.
That's my favorite one. I love just saying it. It's fun.
I think I'm gonna have to start there.
Yeah.
Cayenne You Handle It.
Is that the lowest? Is that the lowest one in terms of the chili peppers?
Well, they measure on a scale of 4, and if I'm reading it right, the red ones mean hotter. So I've got 2, Cheeky Chipotle and Cayenne You Handle It are both at level 2.
Okay,
and
so
then Mango Me Crazy is a 3-star. So
we'll do that.
3 pepper.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh, you're shaking it up. All right, that's a good idea. I should do that. Evenly distributed.
Like blockchain. It's like distributed.
Do we get a countdown here, like a 3, 2, 1, go, or is there?
Yeah, they're giving us a sign. We'll just do it. Cheers. We'll do it. Cheers.
Kampai.
Hampai. Ooh,
Kampai.
which
It's like
gets me.
the toast in Korea.
Yes,
That's really good.
it
That's
is quite good.
fantastic.
It is quite good. It's
That's good flavor.
we should do it more often, like really often. Um, Speaking of, I'm actually calling in from Korea right now as we speak.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm sitting on a golf green in my building because Koreans love golf.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, have you been? Sounds like you've
I've been to Seoul once. Fantastic experience. We actually have a fairly large part of the business operates out of Korea. Um, you're there, so you probably know that cryptocurrency has become
huge.
like pretty substantial part of Korean culture. In the last presidential election, it was a big part of the discourse there.
Yeah.
And you've got just to the North Koreans really love to steal cryptocurrency, and so
Really?
yeah, yeah. We think last year, um, one of the state-sponsored hacking groups called Lazarus, they
Mm.
stole multiple billions of dollars of crypto. Uh, yeah, one of the most prolific hacking groups in the world.
Oh my God. Okay. I kind of want to get into that. Like, leave a
Yeah,
bookmark of that
yeah.
team
We'll come back.
below. Um, Before we let's give a little bit of love for the audience to understand just the company and everything, and then we'll dive back into your background and everything. But like, what exactly does Chainalysis do? You guys have something crazy like 700 plus employees.
Oh yeah. So, Chainalysis is a software company. We work in the cryptocurrency industry, and our technology enables people to understand what's happening on blockchains. So if you've ever interacted with cryptocurrency, maybe bought some Ethereum or some Bitcoin, or maybe you're into Dogecoin, um, you probably have a sense that what it looks like to buy or sell one of those cryptocurrencies or trade it.
Yeah,
Um, for a long time, people thought all of that was totally anonymous. So you could buy and sell on the internet, and no one would know who you were or what you were doing, and so it attracted criminal element pretty
yeah,
quickly.
yeah,
A lot of people joke that the original and best use case for crypto was selling drugs on the internet. Um, Now it turns out that's only a joke. There's lots of legitimate. In fact, about less than 1% of all activity in blockchain is illicit, according to our
mm,
research.
hmm,
But it's still a funny joke. The the So the technology that we've developed allows for law enforcement organizations and financial regulators and tax authorities, but also crypto businesses to understand who they're transacting with. And so that allows them to stop fraud and criminal activity. And so our customers are doing everything from attempting to stop terrorist financing in the Middle East, or Russian ransomware rings, or North Korean hackers, who are all doing terrible things on the internet. And it plays into narcotics trafficking and human trafficking and all sorts of other terrible crimes, which cryptocurrency has become a core part of the criminal enterprise. And so our technology is all about enabling the good guys to win in that good versus evil battle.
love that. Well, I'm quite close to North Korea. If you want me to just step across and just do anything, just let me know. I'll quickly do a
just
walk
just
across.
just wave and let them know we're watching.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll let them know. I'll let them know. And so you guys are quite large in terms of team size. Um, how large are you guys in terms of like revenue, or what kind of? Can you give us some metrics to give us a sense of how large your company is? And I understand
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
might be our first hot sauce shot, but I'm not sure.
Well, we uh, today the company is about 700 employees. We have about 1,400 customers in over 75 countries around the world. So it's incredibly global and diverse in terms of the customer mix. And we're doing hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue each year. And the business has grown fantastically. I've been there just about 4 years, and we've more than 4x the company in that time period.
Oh man, there's a lot of hot sauce shots. Um, Signs. Okay, hundreds of millions, like 200, 300 more.
Uh, Unfortunately, I ran it past my team, and they said, "Ian, you're not allowed to disclose precise numbers."
Hmm.
It looks like the team is waving the hot sauce
Team's
shot
excited.
here.
Your son, Colin,
Okay,
is probably
all right.
jumping up and down outside.
He,
You and I are
yeah, he's
nervous.
like, the more hot sauce Dad eats, the better. So should we try a different one this time?
Yeah, let's which one do you got?
Well, I got the mango one open. You good for
Okay.
mango?
Sure. Sure. I actually don't have the mango one in front of me right now, but I do have
Okay,
ginger and juice. We got to send you this one. Ginger and
all
juice.
right. I love
Actually, no.
ginger. So
Sorry, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. That's the spiciest one. So I'm going to try the sweet OG. I try that
sweet
one.
OG. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, you do sweet OG, and I will do mango me crazy. All right. Cheers.
Hmm. How's
That
that one?
that's got a little more spice to it than my last one.
Hmm.
That was the three peppers. That one's pretty strong.
Yeah. I realized that I didn't fill my spoon for this one. I got called out already. So next one I'll do the full spoon next one.
All
Um,
right.
okay, so hundreds of millions. You can imagine. Online, I've seen sources of roughly 200 million, but Ian's not gonna deny or confirm that. But it is quite a large company, so we're talking to the right guys here. Um, and especially in the like, how many crypto companies are doing this scale of revenue? Would you say? Because you've been in the crypto space for some time now.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly larger companies in crypto. Like if you look at any of the big exchanges, like Coinbase, publicly traded company in the United States, billions of dollars in revenue.
But I mean, like
Binance.
outside of the crypto, because the exchanges are always going to be the biggest ones. But like outside of
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Exactly.
exchanges, you know,
So if you go beyond the exchange landscape and you look at software companies in the space, we're probably the largest one. Is my understanding. Now, most of us are privately held. There's not yet been a number of IPOs in the space, so
yeah,
hard to always be certain. But from my perspective, Chainalysis, biggest software infrastructure company in the space.
okay. Now a little bit more of a personal question. Um, Actually, a couple.
Yeah.
You didn't start your career in crypto. You've worked at AOL in AOL. Holy smokes,
A, a long, long time ago.
that
Yeah.
was some years ago. And then you were at HP. So you were always in traditional tech, and then Teradata, which got acquired, right? Teradata acquired Astrodata,
Yeah.
which you worked at, and then from there you worked at VMware and a bunch of other kind of traditional
You're
tech,
you're
and then you moved over to crypto. Walk
You're
us through.
picking all the places that I got acquired into to name off my resume, which makes me a little bit sad. The ones that I would call out were Opsware, which was if you've ever read the book The Hard Thing About Hard Things, this was Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz's company after Netscape. So I was at Opsware for about 4 years,
4 years,
acquired
right?
by HP. After that, I went briefly to a company in the enterprise search space called Endeca, and then left to take an opportunity with an early analytic database startup called Astrodata. We sold that company to Teradata, and then I started at a company called Pivotal, which we took public in 2018. I then sold that to VMware at the end of 2019. Stayed on to help launch a new business unit at VMware, and then left VMware after about a year to come here to Chainalysis. So my pattern has been emerging technology, startup, and then exit over and over again.
Well, like not a lot of people can say that they've even had one exit, and you've had multiple. You've been through so many. Are you just a lucky guy, or? or are
I
you some
I'm
spectacular CMO, which I'm sure you are? Like, what walks us like I'm curious about your
yeah.
past, and then I want to talk about why you entered cryptocurrency after. But like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
I'm incredibly lucky. I'm the first one to say this. That so much of uh, these things working out is being in the right place at the right time. I've
yeah, yeah,
uh, seen so many companies that have a great idea and a great team, and the market timing is just wrong, or they can't get fundraising, or so many
absolutely.
reasons why the thing doesn't work out. So being in a place where it does work out is so much down to luck and good timing. But I would say that the through line maybe of the choices uh, I've made about where I work
Yeah.
um, has really been focused on emerging technology, early market creation, often where very technical co-founders have created some great technology, and they're looking for the unlock on how do we scale go to market, and that's where
Mm.
my background and experience comes in. And so that's what I always look for in a company, right? Do they have a big market opportunity? Have they figured out something novel and interesting on the technology space that sets them up to have the potential to go build a much bigger and hopefully enduring company? And I've been, incredibly fortunate to work with some terrific founders who have enabled us to do some really exciting things.
What do you think is your superpower when it comes to marketing? Because there's so many things that need to go well, right? Like,
Yeah,
what's your
I
superpower?
my superpower is I actually really love technology. And I spend an incredible amount of time attempting to understand what it is that we're building and that we're selling. And I'm lucky enough to be able to take that complex technical story and turn it into something that our buyer or ideal customer actually
Can
cares
understand,
about.
yeah,
Yeah.
and can yeah, and cares about, yeah,
And I think that's the hardest thing to do in emerging tech. If you're in a market where you're selling marginal improvement on the status quo, like, hey, buy my widget, and then somebody comes along with a 10% better widget, the marketing effort there is actually fairly straightforward, right? The customer already knows what it is. They own an equivalent product. I've rarely worked at companies where that's been the focus. Where I've worked, people, you've said, "Hey, buy my widget," and they're like, "What's a widget? why? Why would I ever want a widget? Why are you even talking to me about widgets? You're wasting my
understand,
time."
understand,
And so that it's a different challenge, and I think that's been where I've developed a passion for the technology and the hard work to educate the consumer on the problem domain, and then the technical solution that we can offer.
yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And so, like, right now, talking about your company a little bit and switching focuses now to marketing, um, like, what are you guys doing right now to, I mean, first of all, before you can even have a chance to educate your prospective clients, you got to find a way to meet them where they're at, or
Yeah.
find a way to where are they. So like, what kind of channels and are you finding a lot of success in finding your potential customers right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. So just a little context for the audience. So, we sell across a pretty diverse range of segments, and we're doing that across many geographies. As I mentioned, 75 countries around the world, and a mix of, crypto native startups, fintech companies, banks, but then also, a number of government agencies. And so the sales
Mm,
cycle varies quite a bit. When you look at a
yeah,
crypto native startup, they come to us, they already know blockchain, they know crypto, they need a product like ours, and we're fortunate enough to be the market leader. So they're pre-educated and they're sort of primed to buy. Um, when you look at often, our first sell into a new government agency, it's the opposite. They're saying, "Oh, you guys do something with financial crime, like go visit the forensic accountants down in the basement." They're in the room with no windows, and we have to explain like why they should care about cryptocurrency at all before we even have the right to explain, why they should care about Chainalysis specifically. And so our strategy on building that reputation and doing that early market education really starts with content. And we're fortunate to have information that is actually very interesting to the population at large. We talked about how blockchains work a little bit earlier, right? You've got this public network that holds the history of all the transactions that ever happened. And so I can look at any wallet and I can tell you the balance or the value that's held in that wallet. Anyone can do that. That's not a special Chainalysis trick. But Simon, for me to know your wallet balance is incredibly difficult. Like to know that you control a particular wallet. And so what we hold in our data set is not individuals. Like there's no record of Simon and your crypto
Yeah.
activity. We track this more at a company or an entity level.
Wow.
But we're able to inform what people see, the price of Bitcoin going up or down, what's actually happening behind that, the narrative of what's really happening. And that's at the core of what we do from a marketing engine, and it really fuels all the other activities. So to be specific, we start
Mm.
with long form research reports. We publish 2 big ones every year. In the spring, we publish our annual crypto crime report that goes through all the crazy things that are happening in the world of cryptocurrency, from scams and
Yeah.
hacks to frauds to money laundering to narcotics trafficking to sanctions evasion and on and on. In the fall, we publish something called the Cryptocurrency Adoption Index, which really looks at grassroots usage all around the world. We're actually in the publication cycle for this right now. Now, these are long form. When the full publication, they're well in excess of 100 pages, deep research, data driven. But we publish them in a way that enables us to drive a huge awareness cycle through earned media. So we've invested in building out a pretty comprehensive PR strategy in all our key markets. We have developed reporter relationships. And so when we publish new content, we get written up in tier 1 publications all around the world, from the New York Times to the Financial Times in the UK, the Straits Times in Singapore, and so on. And so when we're publishing something like Crypto Crime Report, we tend to break that up into sections, previews that we deliver, exclusives to certain reporters or under embargo to groups of reporters. And we publish that 100-page asset over 2 months. So we have kind of 8
Crazy.
weeks of rolling thunder of coverage. In the case of the Geos report, we break that up by geographic region. And so Token 2049, huge crypto conference, just happened in Singapore. So we time our release of
Did you
the
go?
Asia Pacific. I actually wasn't able to travel this year. Our CEO was there and a bunch of our other team, but unfortunately I couldn't make the trip. But that we time our Asia Pacific analysis to coincide with big events like that. And then that content fuels everything else we do. So there's a whole virtual event strategy that comes behind that. There's an in-person event strategy. So over the years, we've built up a number of flagship, 1,000 plus attendee events that happen in person over multiple days. And also our entire ABM strategy of kind of direct account approach is all fueled by this research and data analysis that we've done. So it's a pretty unique value proposition.
That's crazy. I mean, first of all, we should definitely talk about in-person events. It's something that I'm super passionate about. We're actually cooking up something right now with Marketing on Mars and a couple of big organizations, and potentially getting all the C-suites that have come onto Marketing on Mars together in a room.
That's awesome.
And so maybe we can chat about that at some point.
Yeah.
But so you guys are spending a lot of resources on data and collecting all this data to become really essentially thought leaders, right? So that when people think about crypto, when people think about who do I go to for the top data and resources, they think about Chainalysis. And that's effectively where you guys have positioned yourself. kind of like
That's right.
Deloitte, KPMG, and all these big big companies. They're not big for no reason. They actually are the go-to when you want to find
Yeah.
some very valuable resource or information.
I think there's probably a comparable attribute to like S&P 500, which
Mm,
everyone, you think about as like the benchmark index of stocks that are the most important stocks. Now, S&P is a massive $40 billion company, but they also have that brand around that particular index product that really cemented their reputation. And I think in some ways, our strategy is comparable, that we want to be synonymous with providing the understanding of what's happening on chain so that our customers can
mm.
make better business decisions. Um,
Hold on. Do you guys have an ETF product? Or is that on the roadmap? I'm just
we're
saying.
not, yeah, we're not in the industry of building market indexes. It's sort of an adjacent space to us,
Okay.
but certainly one that we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
There's a couple interesting companies working in that space.
Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
something in the works potentially.
you never know. You
You
never
never know.
know.
Okay, we're gonna switch over. We're gonna do a very fun segment. And our team over here put this together. We're gonna switch over to a rapid fire round. So gonna very simple. I'm gonna ask you 5 questions, and you can answer it. Great. Keep it short. We'll go to the next one. And if you can't answer it, we'll both do a shot of hot sauce.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Um. All right. First question. What's the weirdest thing you've Googled in recent memory?
uh, I'm trying to think. What have I Googled recently? I just put in an electric car charger in my house, so I was trying to figure out like all the wiring schematics necessary to get an electric car charger implemented. That would probably be the weirdest thing.
Okay. Okay. Um. Weirdest snack combo that you secretly love?
My go-to snack is actually sliced apples and cheese, but it has to be a very specific apple. Honey crisp apples, and there's cheese that Trader Joe's makes, um, that is a combination of Parmesan and cheddar, and uh,
Okay. Okay.
it's called unexpected cheddar. And so you get a slice of
It's
that
definitely
slice of apple
unexpected.
together. It's awesome. My go-to snack.
Should we write a report on the weirdest snacks in 2024 around the world? Yeah.
I would love to hear what other people are eating. I mean, I don't know if that's weird to other people. I love it,
Yeah. Well,
but
yeah.
our
I like that.
audience was making some faces there, so maybe it is a little bit weird, and I didn't know it.
If you had to wear a Halloween costume every day for 1 month, it wasn't just one day, what costume would it be?
Ooh, uh, I'm a big superhero fan, so I feel like it would be something in the Marvel universe. Like the last superhero movie I saw was Deadpool, which I thought was hilarious.
So funny.
And I love Ryan Reynolds, like just as somebody that has mastered the art of marketing. So I
Yeah.
feel like if I had to do it for a month, it would probably be the Deadpool costume.
Nice. That's sick. You'll do the NSYNC dance as well?
I would try my best. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What marketing trend do you think is totally overrated?
Right now, performance marketing.
Same. And how much money are you making at Chainalysis right now as a CMO?
Uh, More than a little, less than a lot.
All right.
Hot
Um,
sauce again,
I
huh?
think I don't know why the team is so mean to us today. Okay, so we're
That
gonna.
that was like a very specific answer. I don't know what they're upset about.
I know it was good. It was good. Um,
I'm gonna go with
what are you doing?
cheeky Chipotle. That's the one that I haven't tried yet. So it's been
Cheeky Chipotle. Okay, I'm gonna do
yeah.
gin and juice. This has 4 peppers. I don't. Yours doesn't have 4 peppers, right?
I didn't get one with 4 peppers. They were nicer to me than they were to you, I think.
Well, okay.
Overflowing. Amazing. Oh, cheeky Chipotle is good. I would put that on eggs. That would be fantastic. Yours looks like it was maybe a little hotter than mine.
It was just a big spoonful. Oof.
You were paying back for the light spoon on the last one, I think. But
Yeah, you see.
hey, when you eat hot sauce, does your top of your head sweat at all?
My top of my head is always sweaty, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. When I eat really spicy foods, that's where it starts. It starts on the top of my head. Gets a little
Sauce
sweaty
on the
up there.
head.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like if I
yeah,
didn't have hair, I would need to have like a towel or something to wipe it
yeah.
off
You got
with
a
it.
lot of hair. I was gonna say like full head of hair. Like my hair, I'm starting to look a little. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here.
Hey, you look good to me. I no complaints from here.
Yeah. All right. We'll go back to actually before we go back to marketing because I am curious about all the events that you do and dive into the different strategies because that's what a lot of our
Yeah,
listeners are here for. Um, are you personally invested into crypto?
I am. Yeah, I wrote a blog about this actually joining the company when I bought my first Bitcoin. So, uh,
When did
yeah,
you? What year was it?
the timing was not good, not from an investment perspective. But that wasn't why I did it. It was more about wanting to learn the space, like to actually go through
Like
the
2020.
experience. I joined in January of 21. So yeah,
So
I
that's
was
when you
not
got
one of the
in.
people. Yeah.
Oh, so that was like what 50K, 40K around that time
Yeah, I was
USD.
in the 40s on the way up. Yeah.
I mean, you look stupid. You look kind of dumb a few months later, but now you're looking really smart because we're at 60, what, 60? And it just goes
I-
through cycles, right?
it it's the most cyclical business you will ever find for anyone that's not in the space. It's like every 4 years it totally blows itself up and then rebuilds, and then blows itself up again. It's done it 4 times. It's an amazingly predictable market cycle.
Yeah. So like I don't talk about it too much until recently. I ran community at Litecoin early on in my
Oh, no
career
way.
in
Yeah.
2016. So I got in roughly around that time, 2016, 2017. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
money at that time,
Yeah.
but I did put some money in there. Um, and I also got some payment in there, which helped a lot. Part of my salary was in there. So, um, yeah, I think crypto has always had a soft part of my heart. Um, but it's hard, like to your point from the very beginning, like it was just hard to find a company that was building something legitimate, but also growing and everything. Yeah, I was part of all of the ICO stuff in 2017, and that was tough to see from a investor standpoint and everything. But how did you first hear about Chainalysis? Like, did it just knock on your door somewhere?
Uh, it's almost. So a recruiter that I was friendly with reached out to me, and I had sold my last company, Pivotal, to VMware, and committed myself to spending some time there, making sure the acquisition and integration went well. So I wasn't actively looking for a new job, but I was having select conversations, and so I get a call in early December of 2020. So locked down in my house, like everybody
Lockdown.
else all around the
Yeah.
world. Yeah, sitting at home, and the person said, "Hey, Ian, you got to take a look at this company, Chainalysis." And after taking like a couple minutes to figure out how to spell it so I could Google it, I get to the website because I'd never heard of the company. And I realized that it has something to do with blockchains and cryptocurrency. Like the banner at the time was like building trust in blockchains, which is the company's mission statement.
Yeah.
And I said to the recruiter, I said, "Hey, I don't think this is for me."
Hmm.
And they were like, "No, no, no. The team's really excited to meet you. Like, you got to take a conversation." And I said, "Well, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about crypto. And like, my superpower is like being a domain expert and understanding the technology deeply. And like, this is just not an area I've spent any time. Like, you want to go talk security or databases or, analytics, machine learning. Like, I can talk to you all day, but blockchains is a thing that I've never really focused on." And I said, "Well, to be honest with you, I don't know anything about crypto. And like, you know, my superpower is like being a domain expert and understanding the technology deeply. And like, this is just not an area I've spent any time. Like, you want to go talk security or databases or, analytics, machine learning. Like, I can talk to you all day, but blockchains is a thing that I've never really focused on." And they said, well, it turns out no one has. Like there are no enterprise software marketers in crypto. So you can't hire somebody that's done this before. And I said, well, look, here's my real concern. I really only pay attention to headlines on the space, but what I know is that the price of Bitcoin goes up for seemingly no reason, and then it goes down for seemingly no
No
reason,
reason. Yeah.
and then somebody goes to jail, and I don't want to go to jail. And the recruiter said, Ian, like these folks are awesome. They're doing really important work in the space. Just have a conversation. And I trusted this person a little bit, so I took that advice and said, "Yep, absolutely, okay, I'll have a meeting." And of course, then I went and prepared and researched the company properly, and met Michael Groninger, our CEO, who's fantastic,
Yeah.
PhD in quantum mechanics. Uh, early in the space, helped build Kraken before starting Chainalysis. And then I met his
Wow.
co-founder, Jonathan Levin, who,
Yeah.
did his graduate work in economics, all about Bitcoin at university in the UK. Again, very early to the space, super passionate. And as I got to know the company, I said, wow, this is like a tremendous opportunity where they've reached product market fit, but they've done it without a real go-to-market engine. They have a handful of salespeople, a handful of marketing people, but mostly it's been founder-led and referral word of mouth. And I knew that I could actually have a really positive impact on the company by joining. I saw the path as I was in the interview cycle of what we needed to do in order to scale the company. And now looking back, almost 4 years later, it's like, yeah, we did all the things that I imagine we could. It's been kind of a tremendous 4 years. So 0 regrets on making this
Crazy.
decision to jump in. Yeah.
Um, that's wild. And you guys have grown quite a bit over these last 4 years.
Yeah.
Too, right? In terms of what was the scale of the company when you first joined versus now? If you were to give
There were
some
200
comparison.
employees. Yeah, there were 200 employees. Today we're over 700. The marketing team was about 6-8 folks. Today we're 45. We had less than 20 quota carrying salespeople. Today we're right around 100. So yeah, in every dimension, we've scaled the organization.
Wow. And okay. Diving into marketing a little bit, and then
Yeah.
we'll take another pause. We got another fun segment for you. But like you said, sales cycles are long, and government, with trying to break into government can take months, years. And large enterprise, which you also sell to, that also takes a long time, and it's difficult to reach them. You got to hit them through many different channels. What are the channels that you guys are using at Chainalysis right now?
It's evolved over time, because when I joined the company, we hadn't really done a lot of actual marketing. And so we initially tried lots of different things. For example, at previous companies, we had used content syndication like TechTarget, and used it to pretty positive effect. You produce an asset and then they put it in front of your target persona through their various media platforms they own. We tried that here and it didn't work at all, because our buyers weren't anywhere that TechTarget had reach. We also did a ton of third-party events. In the crypto world, there's a conference every day somewhere.
Yeah,
You could spend an unlimited amount of money going to conferences
it's so
and
much
exhibiting.
money.
It's almost appalling when you think about the sum total and what you're getting for it. And so not in year one, because 2021 was still pandemic impact, right? People were not back to in-person events. We didn't even have the vaccine until April of that year. But by 2022, we really ramped up our in-person events. And initially we were doing all the third-party events. Like we tried to be everywhere our customers were. And when we got to the end of 2022, we looked back and kind of measured our ROI and thought about what really worked well and what was kind of average and what didn't work at all. And the thing that really stood out was we spent a tremendous amount of money on third party events, but it was one of our lowest
Like
performing
how like how
channels.
much? How much money are we talking about?
Millions of dollars,
Like tens of millions or
not
sub
tens of
10?
millions.
Oh,
Yeah, it was sub tens,
it's like
but
six or
more than a
seven.
million.
It's like 6 or 7
uh,
ish.
we probably weren't that much in 22, but it was let's call it the two to four range on
Okay.
events
Okay.
for the year. And we could have spent way more than that, right? I mean, in some ways,
Yeah.
we felt like we were saying no to a lot of events that our team was like, "Oh, well, you need to be in Bali at the Coin Conference," and it's like, okay, no, we don't. Um, but when we looked at that investment, it was our least performing of everything that we were doing. And so
Hmm.
over the course of 23 and now into 24, we pulled way back on third party events.
Yeah.
And what we realized is that our brand was good enough that we could draw people to our own conferences, our own events, both big and small.
Mm.
So we started an event that we call Links. This is our flagship platform. The primary event happens in New York City. The next one will be April 1st and 2nd of 2025 at the Marriott Marquis for anyone that wants to join us. And it's all about bringing together the entire crypto ecosystem. So we have
Mm.
financial regulators and law enforcement in the same room as compliance officers from exchanges and leaders from the fintech industry and banks. And so it's rare to get that crowd in the same place and have an
Yeah,
open dialogue,
for
but we've
sure.
managed to do that. And so over 4 years, we've grown that from a single day conference with 100 people on a single stage to a 3.5, 4 day conference, multiple stages, multiple tracks, grown the content dramatically, grown the interaction networking opportunities pretty significantly. We've also
Wow.
started a public sector only edition that we call Trace. It started here in Washington, D.C., where I live. We just had a version of that actually in Seoul 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And those, similarly have gone from single day initially to multi-day events. Um, and so that kind of high-end event platform is critical for us in terms of reinvigorating the customer base, giving them an opportunity to connect, and advancing some of our selling cycles. But we probably do 300 events a year that are in person, but they're first party events that we own. I was in Mexico City about a month ago. We had 200 people for a 1 day, educational learning session. We had customer
Wait,
participation and
what?
presentations.
So
Yeah.
you're doing, hold on, you're doing 300 of these events that are this scale per
Well,
year?
not all of them are that big, right? They scale down to being, 20 people
Okay.
in a particular city,
But they're all
primarily run
first
by
party.
like our
Like you
sales. Exactly. That's right. Yeah. So we still do some of the
incredible.
biggest crypto events, right? Like Token 2049 we talked about earlier. Our CEO was there. He talked. We did some partner and customer events on the side, but we
DEF CON?
consciously chose.
Are you gonna be going
Yeah,
to DEF CON?
same thing. We'll have people there, but we're not sponsors. We're not shelling out for a booth because the
It's
return on that booth
it's
is
not
just
even worth it.
poor. It's not worth it.
It's all the
Not at all.
side events and your own first party events that are
That's
good.
right.
So are
That's
you
right.
guys partnering up because everyone thinks the same, and if everyone thinks the same, then everyone's doing their own party and they're not doing it together. So are you partnering up with a lot of like? Do you try to partner up with other big names for these 200-person events?
Yeah, we have some really great partners. So, like Fireblocks is the leading security player in the crypto space. They build technology to kind of manage all of your wallet custody and payment processing. They're a huge partner of ours. We've got over 200 combined like joint customers,
Mm.
and so we do a good number of joint events with Fireblocks. Um, and there's a long list of other technology partners that we integrate with in the public and private sector. So depending on the event and the context, we'll often pull together, a number of those groups to do a happy hour, customer dinner, or some sort of activity that runs alongside somebody else's event. And those have been much higher return, usually lower investment because we share the cost across
Yep.
a couple different companies.
Yep.
And so I love that model. I think it works fantastically. You get all the benefit of being at the conference at a fraction of the cost.
That's amazing. And I think that might be your superpower because you've worked at because you worked at companies that got acquired by HP and VMware or like
Yeah.
a couple of
Yeah.
acquisitions and that's always a secret. It's all about relationships at the end of the day. And so
That's right.
if you can create these spaces where other impressive people in the industry are connecting, they'll always everyone always remembers the host. And so what you've done effectively is you've built your own team, this super team that creates all these events, 300 events a year. That's not a small feat. That's a lot. That's a lot. So I think that's, first, congrats. Like you built out this monster of a system, that just goes so deep. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why you guys have grown so fast.
Well, we've got a fantastic team. I certainly don't do all this on my own. So the people that actually do the work on the ground, we managed to assemble the best in the industry, which makes all that possible.
Yeah, your team should be on the show. Not
That's
you.
right.
It
I
should be your
know.
entire team
I've
taking
got
shots of hot sauce.
I've got enough hot sauce to share, actually.
Yeah,
So
one shot for everyone, just
that's
right
right.
from the bottle, right from the bottle.
That's right. That's right. We can absolutely do that.
Yeah. All right. We'll do one last quick segment, and then we'll wrap up with kind of learning about your background a little bit. So
Okay.
this segment's called This or That. I have 3 questions for you. So I'll give you
Sure.
this or that, and you just choose one or the other. Well, we already know this answer. But let's do a different one. Would you rather be a crypto millionaire and never be able to be social again, or be super social but never be able to get into crypto again?
It's super social. I'm an extrovert. I love hanging around people. The money doesn't even compare.
All right. I'll give you my address. You can send me some of your money, and I'll
You
make
got to
sure
be my
to.
friend.
I'll make sure
you
to
gotta be
make
my
you
friend.
social. Come to Seoul. Come to Seoul. Let's hang.
Love to.
Sing in the shower or dance in the mirror?
Ooh, I am terrible at singing and dancing. So that is actually a hard choice. I would probably say sing in the shower, because in my head I think I can sing, but anytime anyone else listens, I'm reminded that I can't.
Yeah. Who do you find more annoying, Michael, your current CEO, or Raghu, VMware CEO?
Oh, well, to be clear, I like Michael and Ragu quite a bit. They're
But like
both
one is
tremendous
more
human.
annoying than the other. Like one do you
Uh,
like less than the other? Like who's the one that
yeah,
you like less and why?
I'm much closer with Michael. Michael, Michael and I have worked, arm in arm for almost 4 years. And so I would have to take the preference to Michael over Ragu. We didn't have the opportunity to work quite as closely.
All right. All right, Raghu, you are more annoying than Michael. Sorry to say. Damn it, you answered that question. That was a good one. Well, I'll do one final shot of hot sauce. Not sure if
Let's
you want
do
to.
it.
You're not sure you want to join me on this one.
I'm in.
Okay. All right. Okay. We tried to get you. Should we go back? I really like Cayenne. You handle it. You want to go back to that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I think, by the way, of the 3, I think the Mango Me Crazy might be my favorite. They're all very good, but
okay, yeah.
But we'll do Cayenne. All right. Here we go. Ready?
All right. It's sour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
sour.
is. I bet it would be good over like a sweeter
avocado.
meat, like a pork. Oh, that's a good idea.
Avocado
Over
toast.
Avocado
toast. Maybe?
Yes, I would do that. I was thinking like something savory, like a pork or something like that, where you get a little, maybe
Do you
some
like
sweetness.
Do you like Korean barbecue pork?
Yes, yes, yeah. Some or some bulgogi. Actually, this could go really well in some bulgogi.
Do you travel much now? Now with Colin, like he's 10, I guess. So he
Yeah.
can technically stay at home more than before, but he still
Oh yeah.
can't by himself. So
Uh, no, we wouldn't leave that one at home by himself. I have two older kids as well, so I've got
oh,
three in total. I do travel quite a bit. It's probably less than it was before the pandemic. I think the year 2019, I flew 200,000 miles on planes.
what?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
Do you have your own
So
plane?
no, unfortunately not. The
Sure, you
captain
want
one
it.
time,
Sure, you could if you
I
wanted to.
I fly United a lot, and the captain did one time let me sit in the cockpit, and he gave me his hat to wear,
Wow.
which was a highlight. That was when I passed 1 million lifetime miles on United.
Oh my God.
But no, I definitely am not wealthy enough to own a private jet, unfortunately. So, but then the pandemic hit, and it kind of changed people's expectations about travel. Like I
Yeah,
would go to San
totally.
Francisco for a day and a half worth of meetings, and now people, generally don't expect that as much. So I would say a lot of the internal travel has reduced post pandemic. So most of my travel now is when I want to go see customers or I need to get out and see one of the teams and, like in Korea, for example.
Yeah,
Um, but that's more focused. It's less. It used to be, 3 out of 4 weeks I was on the road.
yeah. Okay, we got a few minutes left.
Yeah,
You got a few minutes before your next call?
I got a couple minutes. I got to get to a dinner, but
Okay,
yeah. So let's go. Let's go speed around here.
let's go speed. Um, just a couple of questions. This is more it's fun for the team, for myself and for the viewers that make it all the way through. Clearly, they're interested in you and they want to know, how did Ian become Ian today?
Yeah.
Right? They made it all the way through. Did you like super impressive background, impressive CMO track record and all that stuff? How did you get here? Did you grow up in a family that was super entrepreneurial and you kind of learned from your parents? Did you have like a mentor or something that you kind of follow along the way? Or like,
Yeah.
maybe let's start all the way back. Like, what was family life like for you growing up?
Uh,
What was the
so
household like?
so my mom is a teacher, recently retired just in the last couple of years. So she spent over 45 years in education, the last 20 or so teaching high school students. So, constant learning in my household, which I think has served me really well. Um, and always reading a book, always trying to learn something new. My dad was in technology. He came to that a little bit later in his career, probably in his later 30s. Got into tech early, so this was like the late 80s, early 90s. And he
It's a good
he got
time.
into, yeah, exactly. It was terrific for him. He got into enterprise technology, networking and early internet infrastructure. And that opened my eyes to that. So we grew up with technology in our house. Like we weren't rich, but we always had computers. Like, I remember when I was 10, 11 years old, like building my own PC.
Holy
We had to buy
smokes.
different cards and power supply and a case and like assemble the whole thing. Um, and like I tried to learn how to code when I was in my teenage years, but it never really took, like sort of like my failed attempts at learning French and Spanish. Like I know enough words to be dangerous, but nobody's paying me to be a translator. No one would pay me to write software code. Uh, but but the I think that that's probably where my early passion for technology, like understanding how it really works, comes from. It kind of grew up with it in the house, and and then I had an internship when I was in college where I got to work at Netscape. If anyone listening remembers, like the original browser,
Netscape
uh,
in the
yeah,
libraries,
yeah,
where I used most of the Netscape.
yeah, Netscape Navigator. So I worked there in the summer of 1997, and I was doing like field marketing stuff, and that internship basically drove the first half dozen jobs that I had. Like connections that I made there led to, once I graduated, one of the people I met there hired me as an inside sales rep. I didn't even know what inside sales was. I had no idea. But I graduated on a Friday, started on a Monday, and he's like, here's a telephone, start calling these people.
Wow.
And it turned out like I was good enough at it that after about a year, I, moved into outside sales, started making some money, figured out how to do it a little bit better, got to be a top performing rep, had the opportunity to go work at some pretty exciting companies, build out some of their early sales organizations. And so it was kind of a series of like, as we said earlier, luck, good timing, and some people who took a chance on me when I probably didn't have the credibility to do anything. And then about 10 years ago, I kind of made a conscious decision to shift out of sales and look for other opportunities in my career. Um,
Yeah.
and and that led me both into Pivotal, the last company I worked at before Chainalysis, but
Yeah.
it also led me into a position where I was kind of playing this role in between the product team and go-to-market team, helping incubate and introduce some new products to market, which was a tremendous opportunity to kind of see all sides of the organization, get to play a part in product strategy, a part in go-to-market strategy, kind of shape some really important early foundational products for the company. And at some point, I was complaining a little loudly about how we were doing marketing, and I guess it was so bad that someone agreed with me, and they're like, "Well, if you think you can do better, good luck."
Yeah.
And so it's a case of be careful for what you ask for, um,
It
but
worked out.
also like a case of like don't be afraid to take a messy situation and try and take it on. And so that was the moment where I really shifted into being the CMO at Pivotal. This was about 2015. We were pivoting the company in terms of product focus, market focus, and I jumped in and reset the entire marketing organization, and that led us to the next 3 years of really significant growth and ultimately an IPO.
So,
Uh,
where do you think you get your extrovertedness and social skills from? Your dad or your mom? Maybe your dad, if
uh,
he was in enterprise.
my mom stood up in front of a room full of teenagers her entire career,
Yeah.
trying to get them to focus and pay attention and hopefully learn something. So I would
Ooh,
say that that storytelling gene probably comes from her,
from your mom.
uh, from my mom. I would say that we're pretty similar in that regard.
Nice. Well, Ian, it's been a pleasure. Super fun. Hopefully, Colin got some laughs out of it. I don't know if he can see you from outside the door, but regardless, it was awesome connecting with you. And yeah, whether it's in Washington or New York or whether or Seoul, hopefully we can meet up for a beer and some barbecue pork one day somewhere in the world.
I would love that, Simon. This was a ton of fun. And thank you for the hot sauce. I'm going to put it to great use.
Please.
Really, really enjoyed the chat today.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get you back on. I'm sure the team would love to have you back for round two. So we'll catch up very soon. Love it.